My only wish is to be like them, not the bad parts, like the fact that they have such strong emotions. They cry a lot, laugh a lot, and sometimes both at the same time. It even hurts them when they have babies, strangely, because their pelvises are curved. And they could eat species like us if they wanted to, which is disgusting. But I would love to have the good things about humans, like their strength, creativity, and courage. In fact, if I could be human, I probably wouldn't care about the bad parts either. It would be an easy trade-off. Anyway, let me tell you about the first human I ever met, who turned out to be one of my closest friends. My family and I live on the planet Zoria, which is widely believed to be the oldest sentient planet in the universe, a fact the Zorian like to remind us of at every opportunity. Zoria is a melting pot of sentient species, as it is home to the Galactic Sentient Assembly. I am actually from the planet FCA, and our species have been Zorian allies for millennia. My parents were mid-level civil servants working as clerks for the Galactic Sentient Assembly. They both had the same job, the same personality, the same boring friends. Everything. For me, their lives sucked. I was about 16 standard years old, and similar to humans, it was Phyrexian adolescence. I was bored with school, bored with life, and just plain bored. I was living a boring plant-based prey species' existence. I needed something fun to happen. It was around this time that a new kid started at school. His name was Eris, and he was human. The news of his arrival spread like wildfire. There was a special meeting and everything. All our parents were informed and invited to make any requests or even protests. It was a big deal. A predatory human was coming to our school. The adults were petrified, but the kids were excited. We were going to have a real live human at school. Then came the news I was his buddy. My parents nearly lost it. They finally came around when I told them that I would have a Zorian guard with me until it was confirmed that the boy was safe. You can never be too sure with their kind. The school thought now I have to explain that my school was a bit strange because it was a stellar academy that school speak for an expensive elite interspecies school for the children of ambassadors and royal families. Now, my family isn't in that league, but they mix with people who are, so my dad's boss got me in. Long story short, most of the kids there are snobby and cliquish, and I don't really like a lot of them. But the upside is that Principal Varian loves me because there are very few normal kids in his school, and I'm one of them. Eris's first day I will never forget. I arrived early at 11 a.m. to be ready for the 11:30 a.m. start. I've since heard that's super late for humans, but for us plant species, it's the best time to start school since the sun has been up for a few hours and our inner energy levels have risen thanks to good old photosynthesis. His transporter swept in at 11:15, and Principal Varian was there with me to meet him. The other kids were already in class otherwise. There would have been a rubbernecking riot on the front steps. He got out of the van all by himself, no parents, no escort, nothing. As if he had been there forever, that guy. I thought I had seen humans from a distance and heard my parents talk about them since they dealt with them at work, but I had never seen one up close. His skin was smooth and light, and he showed me his terrible teeth as he approached. Then he saw my face and quickly hid them behind his lips as if he realized he was scaring me, which he was. "Hello," Eris said to Director Varian. "Hello, Sir," Eris replied, hiding his teeth. "Good to have you here," Varian continued. "This is your study buddy, Kellen. He will show you around and help you learn how we do things here." "Thank you," Eris said. "Nice to meet you, Kellen," he said, and turned to look at me. "Well, Flaxians are a plant-based species," as I said. "We are genetically similar to Terran bamboo. That means, yeah, I'm tall and thin, pretty flexible, and I'm pretty tough. So when Eris looked at me, he looked up because I'm 9 feet tall. Hey, that surprised you, didn't it?" Eris tried hard to hide his teeth and stared at me. I let him drink in my magnificence and then said, "Well, you're damn short and weird looking even for a human." "Big mistake." He threw his head back and laughed like a drainpipe. He slapped his legs with his arms and bent over. Principal Varian flipped out and ran into the building. The Zorian guard stood rooted to the spot, not knowing what to do. I just stared at Eris, especially his arms and legs, and realized that this was a species that could crush us all if it felt like it. See, the thing is, humans have muscles and hard, almost unbreakable bones. They also have a massive BMI compared to us. They are just plain heavy and strong and scary. They have scary sharp teeth. They eat plants and meat. They can think super fast, make decisions at the speed of light. and fight things with whatever they have around them or nothing, just their bare hands. But I stood my ground. I forced myself to do the Flaxian version of a fake smile and waited for him to calm down. "Good one, man," he said, slapping me on the back. I almost broke in half, but I stayed upright. "Man, have you been here long, Eris? On Zoria?" I wanted him to know that he should tone it down, or he would continue to freak us all out. "No, I just got here 2 days ago," he said. "It's the first real stellar academy I've been to." "Are you Flaxian?" "Yeah, almost." "I'm Flaxian." Cool. Eris nodded. He looked around and said, "Where's the principal?" About that time, Principal Varian reappeared holding a large book in front of him. "Oh my God, he's using it as a shield," I thought. Hilarious. "Ah, come in, boys," Principal Varian said, his voice wavering. "Class is about to start." "I'm Flaxian." Cool. Eris nodded. He looked around and said, "Where's the principal?" About that time, Principal Varian reappeared holding a large book in front of him. "Oh my God, he's using it as a shield," I thought. Hilarious. "Ah, come in, boys," Principal Varian said, his voice wavering. "Class is about to start." "Okay," Eris said. "Lead the way, Kellen." We walked up the school steps, and I pushed open one of the double doors. Eris tried to push the other one, but when he pushed it, it flew off its hinges and landed 6 feet down the hallway. "Crap," he said. "I'm sorry, sir." Principal Varian had run off again. The guard had left as well. It was just me and Eris against the world. Please let the school stand at the end of the day, I thought, going crazy inside. I bit the bullet. "Okay, man, we need to have a serious talk here." "Yeah," Eris said. "It's a bit strange how he keeps leaving." "Well, Eris, the thing is, you're scary." "What?" he said. "Eris, you're human," I said simply. "No kidding," he said sarcastically. "Man, all of us here are prey species. Many of us are petrified of you. You can grab us with your hands. You can run faster and jump higher. You can make weapons out of things. You can swim in water. You can, eat us." I hit a nerve with that last remark. Eris's face fell and he looked away. "Yeah, well, me and my family, we're not like that. You have to get to know us." "Give us a chance," his voice trailed off. "I know, dude. That's why they let you in here." "But man, when you slapped my back out there, you almost broke it." Eris looked shocked. I'm sorry, man. My parents told me that we were stronger than most and that people might be afraid, but until I broke the door back there, I didn't get it." "Yeah, it's okay. You'll get there, and so will we. But you're going to have to, slow it down a little bit. I'll help you, dude." "Thanks," he said. "Cool," I said. "Let's go to class. It's astrophysics first, and we've got 5 minutes to get there." That first class went well. Everyone stared, and some actually moved away from Eris, but Eris knew the job. No doubt he was no slug, that's for sure. The second class was leadership and diplomacy. Not so good. Eris got up to read something to the teacher, and as he walked forward, he knocked over a desk with his hip. The little Caprian sitting at the desk screamed and clattered backwards on his little hooves. This set off the Zorian, and Jar yelled, "Watch what you're doing, you clumsy idiot." Ares apologized profusely and sat down at his desk with his head in his hands. But in the next class, things started to look up. It was physical training. We had to pair up. Of course, I had to go with Ares. I was his buddy, but no one else would do it anyway. We had a special uniform depending on our species, but Ares's was way too small. He came out of the locker room with a t-shirt that went halfway up his stomach and shorts that showed most of his thighs. Everyone was horrified and transfixed. There was way too much human anatomy on display. Ares was really embarrassed but tried to make the best of it. I really felt sorry for him. Our gym teacher is a Flaxian like me. She's 3 feet tall and really strong. In our pairs, we had to take weights and move them across the room as fast as we could. Ares picked up the whole bucket of weights in one go, so we won. Then we had to climb up a rope and cross a rock wall. Ares got up and down the rope in 10 seconds. Then he climbed the rock wall like a spider, his body flat on the surface, constantly moving. We won that too. Next, he threw a medicine ball so far that it bounced off the gym wall and almost hit the same Caprian again. When we did the reaction time test, Ares caught every single ball that came out of the machine. He even jumped over 6 feet to catch one in the air, landed on the hard floor, and hit his head. He stood up and acted as if nothing had happened. He did all this with hardly any clothes on, his scary muscular human physique on display for the whole class to see. It was freaking awesome. At the end of the class, our teacher stood in stunned silence, staring at Eris. "How old are you, Eris?" she asked. "I'm 16, he said. "When do human males reach adulthood?" About 25, maybe," Eris said. My teacher's mouth fell open. "You mean you are getting faster and stronger?" "Well, yes, ma, I am," he said simply, shrugging his shoulders. "I'm hungry now. Isn't it lunchtime?" We walked slowly to the cafeteria after changing from PT. Eris was wearing his normal clothes and obviously felt much more comfortable. We sat down in the cafeteria, a group of kids from all over the universe, all thrown together in this crazy school. I got out my food, which was sugary liquids in the form of a shake, which is what we mostly eat. Eris took out his food, which was a steak sandwich. Immediately, every prey sentient in the room could smell the meat. It's hard to explain what that's like for a prey species. It's a horrible, hypnotic, sickening feeling that hits you in the middle of your gut or xylem and phloem. Some kids ran out of the room, some just moved quickly away. One kid dropped his food all over the floor, and several species just screamed. Jar actually peed himself. Eris sat perfectly still, the steak sandwich in the middle of a bite, meat and bread flapping in the breeze. "Dude," I almost yelled, "you can't eat that here." Eris actually drooled, because the sandwich was almost in his mouth. Then he quickly wrapped it up and ran out of the room so fast that he slammed into the lunchroom door. And yes, he broke that door too. I found him about 10 minutes later sitting on the front steps of the school. He had his communication device out, and his cheeks were wet. He wiped his face with his hand and looked at me for a long time. "Kellen, I don't think this place is for me," he began. "Eris," I said, "this is your first day in a new school. You're human, and no one else here is. When I started here, I was the only Flaxian child. A Azorian pushed me, and because I'm so tall, I hit my head on the top of the door frame. Yes, but you are a prey species. We're different, you know. I know, man, but it's really good that you're here. You have brains, you're damn strong and fast, you're funny. But don't drive Varian crazy with all that knee slapping again." Eris managed to smile. His disgusting teeth gleamed in the sun, but they didn't scare me as much this time. "We just have to get used to you. You can't run away from it, dude. No matter where you go in this universe, all of us will be there, and we can't run away from you. Well, for starters, you would catch us, and then probably eat us." Eris threw his head back and laughed again, and this time I really joined in.